Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine you're nearing the end of August. Still thinking summer barbecues, maybe one last trip out, right? Expecting heat. Now, picture this. Temperatures suddenly plunging. We're talking 15, maybe 25 degrees Fahrenheit below normal. Feels more like late September, maybe even early fall. And this is forecast for a huge chunk of North America late August 2025, right after a pretty hot summer, too. So our mission today, figure out the how and the why behind this really unusual cold wave, what it means for you.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here is not just some random cool down. This is driven by a classic atmospheric setup. It's way out of season. We're seeing a really deep upper level trough. Think of it like a big dip in the high altitude winds setting up over the east. And that's paired with a strong blocking ridge, but big bulge of high pressure out west. This pattern, sometimes called high over west, low over east, it forces the polar jet stream, that river of air high up. It forces it into this dramatic southward dive. And that channels a dry continental polar air mass, basically cold, dry Canadian air, straight down into the continent.
Okay, hold on, there's a twist here. Something about Hurricane Erin. A hurricane? That sounds completely backwards. How does a warm storm like that actually help make things colder? Strengthen the cold air? That's wow.
Exactly. It is counterintuitive, and it's a really critical piece here. A strong hurricane like Erin, even while it's tracking offshore, it generates this powerful outflow of air way up high in the atmosphere. That outflow then interacts with the flow that's already there, the upper level pattern, and it effectively intensifies, deepens the trough that's already setting up over the east. Think of it like giving the whole system a significant nudge. Just amplifies the cold air moving south, the advection. Yep. It's complete, but a powerful atmospheric synergy.
Wow. So this isn't just like a little bit chilly. We're talking places like Minneapolis, Chicago, maybe only hitting the upper 60s, mid 70s for highs, and overnight lows potentially dropping into the low, maybe mid 40s up in the upper Midwest. Even big cities farther east like New York, Boston, looking at highs, maybe low 70s. That feels much more like autumn. It's pretty remarkable how fast that atmospheric pattern translates into, well, real challenges for people.
Indeed it does. And the implications ripple out very quickly. Take agriculture, particularly in the northern Corn Belt. There's suddenly a moderate, a non-zero risk of damaging frost, especially for corn and soybean crops that are maturing late. Those overnight temperatures could get close to critical levels that potentially impacts yield, quality. It's quite a sudden scramble for farmers.
Right, a race against the clock. And it's not just the farms, is it? Beyond agriculture, where else does this kind of unexpected cold snap cause problems? The energy sector must be caught off guard. I mean, late August usually means air conditioners running full blast.
Yeah.
But this event, it flips that script. It collapses what we call cooling degree days, the measure for cooling energy demand. And instead, we'll likely see this weird spike in heating degree days. A sudden need for heating.
Yeah, grid operators have to pivot really fast. That could definitely inject some volatility into, say, natural gas markets.
Okay, so farming, energy. What about people's health? Such a sudden change must have impacts there, too.
Absolutely. The abruptness of the temperature drop itself poses risks, especially for more vulnerable populations. You get sudden stress on cardiovascular systems, respiratory systems, plus, the potential for hypothermia if people are caught unprepared for such a drastic shift. It really highlights the need for clear public health messages, even though it's technically still summer.
Okay, so zooming out a bit. What this deep dive really highlights is, a powerful but short-term weather event causing pretty significant disruption across farming, energy, public health, and all this despite forecasts, the longer-range ones, pointing towards a warmer August. Now, the good news, you said, is this is temporary, right? Warmer conditions should return around Labor Day.
That's the expectation, yes. More seasonal.
But it's still a really potent reminder, isn't it? How these dynamic short-term weather systems, the synoptic scale stuff, can just completely steamroll the broader climate outlook sometimes. So that brings us to a final thought, maybe something for you listening to consider. How does understanding this difference, the difference between those long-range climate signals and these intense short-term weather events, how does that change how you look at weather predictions? And maybe how you prepare for the unexpected in your own life?